welcome to the podcast. I've got two KC guys. I've got KJ Robinson and I've got Jacob Gilyard. Two guys that obviously have been pretty well known in the KC area, and so that's the first thing that I kind of wanted to get started here. For anyone that doesn't know you guys, I don't care who starts, just kind of give us a background on who you are, where you played high school ball, where you played college ball or currently play college ball, and kind of just go from there.
Yeah, I'm KJ Robinson. Like you said, I went to Blue Spring South High School, played there for 4 years, then went to University of Nebraska Omaha and played my 4 years there. And I just finished up this year. So
I'm Gilyard. I went to Stowe School, and then after that, I went to the University of Richmond, where I'm still at. I'll be a senior this upcoming year.
Cool. So, KJ, real quick, I know that originally, you've signed with an agent, correct?
yep.
Yep. And so your plan is to kind of pursue overseas. What are we thinking?
Yeah, overseas. That's the look for sure.
Cool. Yeah. So you had a really good. You had your best year by far, scoring wise, was this year, your senior year. So that's good stuff. I know that's definitely going to end up working out for you. Jacob, you are going back. Originally, you were going to look at the NBA draft, and obviously with all the COVID stuff and slowing that stuff down, you're going back. So what made you get back to that decision anyway?
I think originally I kind of planned on going back to school no matter what, just because my education's a big deal. And obviously with the whole COVID deal, we weren't able to get workouts with teams. They shut those all down, so that kind of sucked. I felt like I had a chance to impress a couple people there and then hopefully moved on from there. But with that being said, I decided going back to school was probably the best decision.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's a good decision though too, because you guys got a lot of people coming back. You guys have a lot of, got a lot of people talking about you coming into your senior year. So, no, that's really cool. Now, like I said, since you guys are Kansas City guys, a couple things that I wanted to touch up on was being from Kansas City. Number one, I think that it's a slept-on area for basketball players. I think that they're finally starting to get some sort of recognition. It's always been like a St. Louis kind of deal. I know that they've tend to get a lot more eyes than the KC area, and so I think that you two are two of the more modern reasons why they're starting to get some more acknowledgement. But who would you say growing up were some of the best Kansas City basketball players?
I know, like for me, people I looked up to were people like Trevor Relaford, Mike Dixon,
Hmm.
point guards that I try to look up to and emulate their games. I know they were able to go to college and have great careers and make it to the pros. So people like that, yeah, around that era.
Yeah, those two definitely. And then obviously guys like Victor and Boo, guys that were a little bit older that we didn't get to watch but had heard about, and then kind of grew up with them sort of coaching us and getting to be around them, stuff like that. But yeah, as far as like getting to watch, I would say those two, especially being a point guard. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I know that Vic plays a pretty big role in your all's lives, and so I kind of assumed that he would be a big role model for you guys. And I know that he does a lot of good stuff, especially for the KC area, but more so not just for the KC area, but for the guys. You know, the guys in the KC area, especially whenever like he seems pretty loyal, so that's good. Okay, so for past players like growing up, what about some of the best players that you felt like you played against from the KC area? Who would you guys say is a couple of like the toughest to guard, the guys who were always able to score a lot on you no matter who it was? Like who were a couple of the toughest guys that you faced whenever you were in high school?
In high school, we had a lot of battles in high school. I would say, Jacob would definitely be one of them. We never really played in high school, but like he was one you always kind of kept an eye out on. For me personally, I had a lot of battles with Blake Spellman in high school. He went to Lee Summit. He was like our rival. We had Mitch Ballack was good. Jariah. It was a lot of kids from my class that like ended up going D1. So I can name a whole bunch to be honest with you.
Right, and did you graduate the same year as Blake Spellman?
Yeah, 2016.
Gotcha. And so, for those of you that don't know, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but is it the Diarena? How do you pronounce that?
Right now.
Yeah. So Blake, and did he split that with somebody that year?
He split it with Jariah. Jariah won.
Gotcha. So I
Jacob's
mean
teammate.
that alone is a big deal in itself. Whenever they have two dudes splitting it, so that obviously speaks a lot about that class alone. So
Our class was pretty deep. We had Michael Weathers, Marcus Weathers too.
That's what I was gonna say. As far as like people to guard, that was tough. Mike was a tough cover.
Yeah, Michael.
Just because his length and athleticism, he was just able to get to the basket pretty much at will.
Mhm.
For me, our conference was pretty weak at Barstow, so we didn't get to play like a whole lot of like Division I guys. But like I remember we played Mike. He was good. I want to say my freshman year we played like the Lee Summit West team, so it was like JD was on the team, like Monte Harrison was on the team. They were good. Obviously, JD was tough to guard.
He was a bucket.
Um, we played Lawrence one year. Justin Robinson. He was really tough. Justin Roberts, excuse me. God, he's ugly. But he was a tough cover. He played really well. Um, yeah, I think that's about it from what we played. But like me and KJ always kind of had like growing up, we played together. We played against each other growing up. So it was kind of like me and him always just kind of had like a competitive nature when it came to the two of us. I feel like when we were younger, a lot of people would talk about us two specifically, and trying to compare us. So I feel like between us two, we kind of just like we're obviously like best friends, but like we also had the competitive nature to want to be better than the next one.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. That's good stuff. Now I don't know how much you guys pay attention to um, the guys who are younger than you that are still playing in the KC area. So I mean, I know that you guys played with some of the top AAU teams in the KC area. So I don't know if you still follow those teams that you played for. But if there's one young player from the KC area that comes to mind that's probably going to end up making some sort of statement and going somewhere big and having a successful career, who do you think that youngin would be?
Who you got, Jake?
So like for me personally, I play for Run GMC, so I pay attention to them, and I think tomorrow's gonna be pretty good. Obviously he's going to a different school now, but I think he'll be really good. And then Mark Mitchell, obviously, he's like top 25 in the class, so I think he'll be really good as well. But I know KJ had a kid go to Blue Spring South, probably the year right after he left. Jalen,
Jalen McGowan. Yep.
yeah, he's supposed to be pretty good. So I mean, we'll see. It's hard, like as you get older. We obviously kind of try and focus on ourselves, but we try and tap in a little bit here and there. So we know a little bit, but not too much.
I
Yeah.
agree. No,
The guy he named. I know the Tamar kid. I think he got a bright future. We played with him a couple times. Pick up.
Hmm.
It's a kid. He's real young, but his name is what's the little dude name? Jake that we be working out with Vic.
How
Josh.
young?
Josh.
Oh yeah, okay.
Josh Salinas, I think his last name is. He's real young. He might be like about to be a freshman, I think, but I think he'll be able to make some noise once it's time for him to hit the scene.
gotcha. Yeah, no. So whenever you're able to work out with, especially guys that have youngins that are able to come up and you still go to those workouts, you can see them. But I think social media makes it a lot easier now too, because man, you probably wouldn't see half of those dudes play nowadays, especially since you guys don't really or didn't really go to school close to the KC area. So anyway, no, that's good stuff. I think that Mark Mitchell and Tamar are two of the really big names, and it kind of helps that they both play for Run. But that McDaniel kid, I watched him play against Javante. Actually, I think they played against each other, and
My
so
boy.
he's a good player. He's a big body. He's good. Okay, so on a more serious note, and I kind of warned you guys ahead of time. I think this is a really good opportunity for you guys to kind of speak out because I think that you have a pretty loud voice in the KC area, and I know that we're kind of sticking to that close knit area or region, and even outside of that, even in the Omaha and the Richmond area. I tried telling you guys, and I tried to communicate this to you guys that like I want to, and I've tried a couple of times to promote the systemic and social injustices going on and the racism that's going on because it's a real thing, and I want to be able to voice how I feel about it in an educated and a respected way. And I don't want to say something and try to support Black Lives Matter. And then obviously how social media is, anything can be perceived the wrong way. And I'm not the kind of guy that wants to throw something out there and be like, wait, did you mean it like this? And then the words get twisted and everything like that. So what could I do, or what could another coach who might be in the same, a white coach at that, for that matter, what do you think they could do in order to voice their opinion so that it's respected and it sounds educated and it's not, twisted by any means?
I think like what I would say to that would be like for a personal experience, like my high school coach, the white man, Jimmy Kane. He came. He actually put like all of us in a group chat, like all of us from the team back in the day, and he just was like texting us, basically saying that like he was basically letting us know like he'll never understand what it's like, obviously, but he was like, I'm willing to learn. Like he was saying that he was coming to us, basically asking us for like direction, like things that we could teach him. And I think coaches could do things like that, going to their players, actually having conversations, allowing the players to open up, and just having conversations about it, really, to where you're able to get more of an understanding about it, to where you are more educated, and you're educated enough to make a statement and make that public. So I think just having conversations with the kids would definitely help.
For sure, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I feel like in the basketball world, not to be like stereotypical, but there are a lot of African Americans, and usually the people in charge are white people. So I feel like when your life is not when your life's based around, but when there's so many young minorities involved in your everyday life, I feel like the best way to do is show support. Obviously, it's uncomfortable and hard for any kind of white person to have conversation and then be engaged, and it's to just reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'm there for you and stuff like that. At the end of the day, you got to get over it. I think at the end of the day, it's people's lives at stake and stuff like that. Like it's a humanity thing, and so I think when it comes down to that, sort of all what's the word I'm looking for? I'm like all standards we have, like situations where it's like I'd reach out for somebody that I've never talked to if it's their birthday. You know what I mean? But at the
Hmm.
end of the day, it's like this is so serious and it's like involves everybody. So it's like don't just do it on their birthday. Don't just do it sometimes. Like it has to be like an everyday thing.
Right. No, I agree with that. So I completely agree. I think that you have to communicate, and I think that you have to reach out, no doubt. For someone who has or sits on such a high, I don't really want to say pedestal. I don't think that's a good term to use. But someone who might have a high following or a lot of people or a big name, I think that a lot of those coaches, and I don't know them, I don't know what they go through. I don't know how they talk to their players, but I would like to think that a good coach is going to talk to his players and communicate that with them. But it's also so frowned upon if they don't publicly come out and say something. And so, like, KJ, I like the point that you brought out about talking to them and then kind of getting educated, but what would you do to go about that after you talk to them and you're educated on it? I mean, would you say like would you go and because I mean I think coaches have a big platform on Twitter. I think that's the biggest platform for them. Would you go on Twitter and tweet after talking to my players, yada yada yada? I think that all of this that's going on, I do not agree with. We're going to do whatever we can. Like that's what I'm trying to get to is you got these white coaches who have a huge following and they could be doing stuff behind the scenes, but if they don't address it publicly, like on something that they have that big platform on, they're almost frowned upon. So, I mean, what exactly do you think you would do with that then?
Yeah, and like you said, I think that's a tough I think that's a tough part about it, because like you said, if you don't publicly come out with it, it's kind of like you're not doing anything when that's not necessarily true. But kind of like what Jacob was saying though, like I think it's very important that you show your support. So like a lot of times you're not able to really see the support that you're showing unless you're publicizing it, you know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
putting it on, like you said, social media is so big nowadays. It's just like that's the way. Like that's the way it almost has to be. So I feel like yeah, tweeting it out. I mean, you don't necessarily have to. I'm not asking you to tweet every day or retweet everything, but like make a couple tweets. Let me know that like you have my back and you are supporting this type of movement and like you have my backing. You know what I mean? I think posting that publicly and showing everybody, not just texting me personally, but now you putting it out for all your followers to see. So now
Hmm.
that really makes it feel like, okay, this person really has our back and like he really is with the movement. So I think, yeah, posting it would be the way to go, I would say.
Cool.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, I don't think you have to go in super detail on a
Right.
social media post because at the end of the day, if you're talking to me and KJ and you're texting us in the group message, obviously we're gonna have like a longer conversation than some random kid in California that you really never speak to. But at the end of the day, if he sees your post and he understands, okay, you actually are on our side, like you're trying to help us out, like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, like you're playing a part in this. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Whereas like obviously we're gonna have a bigger conversation, like in a longer conversation, and obviously it's gonna be more in detail. And we're obviously gonna know that you care. Like obviously, even if you didn't really text us a long conversation and you just told us, we would think, okay, like he's with it, like he's got our back. But I think as far as like spreading awareness to everybody, it doesn't have to be as in detail, but it still has to be known.
And
Right.
like he said, I don't think it has to be anything like super detailed. Just something that shows me, you know what I'm saying, that lets me know like I support you, like I hear you, I hear your voice, like I'm with it. Just something simple.
Right. No, I like that. Thank you. So basically, for any of those, I mean, I haven't. I think that the black and the brown coaches have done a phenomenal job with all the stuff that's going on, especially handling it because it's. I mean, like you said, KJ, I can sit here and admit that I've never lived a day in your all shoes or those coaches' shoes or anyone of color's shoes for that matter. So I can't speak on that, but I can say from an outsider looking in that the coaches and a lot of the players have done a really good job with how they're handling the situation because I know that it's not easy and then I do support you guys 100%. So with that being said, out of a little bit on a different topic, I had quite a few people send me questions on Instagram whenever I posted that. And there was one in particular that I really liked that I want you guys to kind of think about. And I know I didn't tell you guys this ahead of time, so this is going to be on the spot too. So that's what kind of makes it fun at the same time. But well, a guy, his handle is at Jackson in Action, and his question was, how much time actually goes into prepping and doing workouts? No fluff, is what he said. So I mean, there's a lot of different time aspects that you could put into that. I'm not going to say a monthly basis or a yearly basis, but let's go on a weekly basis. So it's like on a weekly basis, how much time would you say in season would you put into workouts? So this is outside of practice.
Oh,
Outside of practice, I mean, are we like in the season type or like
In
before the
season. So it's like the only thing that you wouldn't count towards your workouts is practice itself. So if you guys had gun times or
right?
shooting times or whatever it is, that would count towards your workouts or your individual workouts, whatever it may be. Those
Right.
would count.
I mean, I know like for us, um, during the season, a lot of times like outside of practice, we would have to be at the gym earlier, probably like 30 minutes before, and like we would divide up with like our coaches. Guards would be with one coach, bigs would be with another coach, and we'd get skill work that way. And then for me personally, during the season, obviously you don't want to go as hard as you do like prior to the season, but in the season, I would still say I'm in there at least 2 to 3 times a week on the gun, working on my shot, just getting extra reps, things of that nature. But I mean, the everyday thing would be the 30 minutes before practice, and then you kind of pick and choose where when you want to go back to the gym on the days that you might have off or after things like that during the season. So
Right. Jacob?
um, I'd say I'd say like uh probably like KJ said, like 2 to 3 times you get in the gun. So you look at it like this, like conference play. Okay, you got 2 games a week. So for us, we play what was it? Wednesday, Saturday. So obviously Sunday's usually a day off. Um, so you're looking at one day you're traveling on the road, or two, probably one day you're traveling on the road. You got 2 games. That's 3 days of the week, and then your fourth day is your Sunday, so it's your off day. So then you're looking at the 3 other days of you're usually trying to get in the gun, the 3 days that you have, and get shots up. But usually for me, it's kind of like I stay after practice and get shots up. During the season, it's kind of tough to try and get your skill work in, just because it's time consuming. Obviously, you're tired. You got practice, you got lift, you got class, stuff like that. So to get skill work in is a little harder during the season, especially during conference play. Conference play kind of slows everything down. But it's a lot of time. I think what people don't understand about that is those 2 to 3 days got put because in high school it was 7 days or 6 days. You know what I mean? Like you work coming into college, getting into college, and then you get to slow down a little. Obviously, you don't slow down all the way, but you get to slow down a little bit because of all the work that you've put in.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that too. Like how we were talking about, it is a lot tougher in the season, but I mean, it kind of allows you to slow down a little bit because you put so much work in prior to the season. Because like I mean, before practice and stuff starts, it's every day. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you going back after weights or little team workouts and stuff, and back in the gym, you working on just yourself. So you got a lot of time. You got to take that time before the season really serious so that you are able to compensate for some of them days that you're not gonna have while the season's going.
I don't think dudes even understand that though. It's like there's a lot of these high school cats that are wanting to go play college ball, and I don't think they understand what you have to do preseason wise. The only thing that they're used to is the summer workouts that they have limited for 3 to 4 weeks, and then they wait for season or they're doing another sport. It's a completely different story whenever it's in college. So, but let's say it's not in season, okay, and let's include pickup as the time that you guys would consider as working out, because I think that live 5-on-5 play is crucial to apply as well on top of the skill work that's specific. How much on a weekly basis? Let's say since you guys have been back in KC, whenever you got back, how much time would you say, how many hours a week would you say you spend on workouts and pickup?
Hours a week. I would probably say about close to 2 to 3 hours a day is what I would say. I mean, because I mean, you try to do your skill workouts, and then you do like the lifts or speed and agility type work that you do, and then on maybe 2 or 3 times a week you're doing pickups. So I would say around 2 to 3 hours a day. So what is that? 20 hours a week, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
20 hours a week.
Kind of what I'm looking at. I mean, obviously KJ goes and lifts more than I do. I don't really go and do all of that, but I try and get an extra workout in. You know what I mean? Like I try and go get an extra workout in. So like lately, I've been going to the gym before we work out. So like we have our group workout at like 10:30. I usually try and go get one in the morning. But that's like more of a competitive nature. You know what I mean? Like I realized KJ's working out again. I'm trying to get an edge on him. You know what I mean? So it's like, how can I get myself better to be doing more than him, I guess. Obviously, I'll play pickup 2 to 3 times a week, like you said. Usually 2, but at the end of the day, your body gets tired, for real. It's a lot of work, especially in the summer. Summers are crucial. Obviously, it's the best time to work on your skill set and the best time to get in the gym, but it also is tiring. So 20 hours a week is about what we're looking at, say. Definitely could be more, definitely could be less, depending on the week. Obviously, some stuff comes up, you know what I mean? But that's probably a good guess.
No, I get it. You don't want to burn out though either. So, like
sure.
you get tired. You go in there. You get a 45-minute hour workout of just straight shooting, and you're shooting like cheeks. That's whenever it gets tough. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you need that short little break. You don't want to put too much time in. I don't think you can work too much, but I do think that mentally it can kind of wear and tear on you. So anyway, that's what I've got for you guys. I appreciate you taking the time to talk about some stuff, KC related, Black Lives Matter, and the stuff that's going on related, and just kind of talk about what it takes to be a college athlete and to be a successful college athlete at that. So anyway, that's what I got for you. Appreciate you coming on here.
Appreciate it, GP.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Hey, KJ, before we go, let's see that shirt real quick. Yes, sir.
Shout out GP.
Yes, sir. That's the most. Hey, I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but those are the most comfortable shirts Man,
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
love them.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
all right,
they're
man.
comfortable to work out in too.
Well, there you have it. If you want one, let me know for those of you that are listening. So, anyway, appreciate you guys once again, and I'm sure I'll see you within the next day or so.
All right,
Sure.
GP.
All right, fellas.